As they went home, they saw a ginormous ant, a legend, came towards them. As the giant tree came, they started to panic. Some had heart attacks. Some people were brave and they grabbed chainsaws and tried to chop the tree in half. And some little kids in the cottage went, "I need a napkin!" That's weird. The brave ones went towards the tree. The ant stood on them and they all died, blood everywhere. Only the "I need a napkin" kids survived, and the ants and kids lived happily ever after, and they had a giant party that lived the whole year, and weirdly the kids all turned into trees.
When they awoke, the tree's crown and side branches had been used for fires to keep everyone warm around them. They returned to the forest to make their canoe, but they returned back to where it had been chopped down. But the great Rata tree was wearing its crown and side branches, standing as proud as can be. No chips, normal height, and everything. They did not know what was going on. It was like magic that no one could break.
Early the next morning, Rata and his men came back. The tall Tara tree was standing again, but tilting slightly. It had a few chips at the back. Rata was getting annoyed. They all cut it down again, but this time Rata asked who volunteered to stay and wait over the tree. None of his men wanted to. Still, it had to be done. So Rata stayed outside to watch over the tree.
When the Rata came back from the next day, the tree regrew but then he got a chainsaw and he started chopping it down. But the tree got a machine gun out of another tree and shot him. But when he got home, he called Darth Vader. And when Rata put down the phone, Darth Vader was there outside his door. Rata took Darth Vader to Toro.
It wasn't long until all the birds came back together and lifted the tree to heal it. Rata came back with all his men. The men were shocked by all the birds sitting there, all angry at the men. It wasn't long until the birds started to come and save all the trees in the forest more often. The men still come back. It still stands for 1,000 years. The men in the forest were never to touch the tree again. All you can do in the forest now is just walk through. The forest was never to be seen. But how did these trees and birds live? Nobody ever touches the trees. It's only meant to be walked through.
When Rata went back home, he heard weird twinkles by the tree, and the wood fell out of their hands, and then the Toro rebuilt again. Then Rata realized the tree was magic, and then straight away it grew humongous leaves. Rata knew he had to run. That end.
After Rata got home, he wondered how the tree stood up again. He was walking around in a straight line. He told his grandma, who was fairly Māori. She knew a lot about Māori, but she didn't know Māori language. He told her and she replied with, "It's the gods. They don't want you to cut down their trees." Rata could understand, but he kind of didn't. He was surprised when he heard this, but not so surprised. His mum heard the whole conversation, so she butted in. She also said the same thing as her mum.